The fluorescent lights of the small Boston office flickered as Olivia Bennett stared at her laptop screen, the numbers blurring together into a symphony of failure. 35 years old, and everything she had built was crumbling. Green Tech Solutions, her sustainable technology startup, was drowning in debt. The innovative solar panel system she had designed, the one that was supposed to revolutionize renewable energy, sat in a warehouse collecting dust because investors had pulled out at the last minute. She rubbed her tired eyes and glanced at the stack of unpaid bills on her desk. Rent was 3 months overdue. Her small team of 5 employees hadn't been paid in 6 weeks, yet they still showed up every morning, believing in her vision. That loyalty made everything worse. She was failing them. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost ignored it, but something made her answer. Olivia Bennett? The voice on the other end was smooth, professional, and hauntingly familiar. Olivia's breath caught in her throat. Harper, it's been a long time. Harper Sinclair's voice carried that same confident tone that had once made Olivia's heart race. 5 years hadn't changed that. I heard about your company's situation. I have a proposition for you. Olivia felt her jaw tighten. Harper Sinclair, the woman who had walked away from their relationship without looking back, choosing her career over everything they had built together. The woman who had broken her heart so completely that Olivia had spent the next year unable to trust anyone. I'm not interested in whatever you're selling, Olivia said coldly. I'm offering you $100,000, Harper continued, her voice steady. In exchange for consulting services, your expertise in sustainable technology is exactly what my investment firm needs for a new project. The money would be yours up front, no strings attached beyond your professional guidance for 6 months. Olivia's hand trembled. $100,000. It was enough to pay her employees, cover the overdue rent, and buy time to find new investors. It was a lifeline, but it came from the last person she ever wanted to owe anything to. Why would you do this? Olivia asked, suspicion lacing her words. Because you're brilliant at what you do, Harper replied simply, and because I believe in second chances. Meet me tomorrow at the Mandarin Oriental, 3 p.m., Suite 2804. We can discuss the details. The line went dead before Olivia could respond. She sat in silence, her mind racing. Every logical part of her brain screamed that this was a terrible idea. Working with Harper meant reopening wounds that had never properly healed. But the alternative was bankruptcy, watching her employees lose their jobs and abandoning the dream she had sacrificed everything to build. That night, Olivia barely slept. Memories flooded back, Harper's laugh echoing in their old apartment, lazy Sunday mornings tangled in sheets, the way Harper used to look at her like she was the only person in the world, and then the final argument. Harper's suitcase by the door, her voice breaking as she said, I have to go. This opportunity in New York is everything I've worked for. I can't turn it down. What about us? Olivia had asked, tears streaming down her face. There is no us if I don't become who I'm meant to be, Harper had replied, and then she was gone. The next afternoon, Olivia stood outside the hotel suite, her hand raised to knock. She had changed her outfit 3 times that morning, finally settling on a navy blazer and white blouse. Professional, composed, nothing that suggested she cared about seeing Harper again. She knocked. The door opened, and there stood Harper Sinclair. 5 years had only made her more striking. Her dark hair was shorter now, styled in a sleek bob that framed her angular face. She wore a tailored charcoal suit that spoke of success and power. But it was her eyes, those piercing green eyes, that made Olivia's breath catch. They held the same intensity she remembered. But there was something else now. Experience, confidence, and maybe, just maybe, regret. Olivia, Harper said softly, stepping aside. Thank you for coming. Olivia walked into the suite, her heels clicking on the marble floor. The space was elegant, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Boston skyline. A conference table was set up with documents neatly arranged, 2 laptops, and a pot of coffee. Let's get straight to business, Olivia said, keeping her voice professional. She couldn't afford to let emotions cloud her judgment. Harper nodded, though something flickered across her face. Disappointment, perhaps. Of course. Please, sit. They settled across from each other at the table. Harper slid a contract across to Olivia. The terms are straightforward. $100,000 transferred to your business account immediately upon signing. In exchange, you'll provide consulting services for my firm's new renewable energy investment portfolio. 6 months, with meetings scheduled at your convenience. You maintain full control of your company and its operations. Olivia scanned the document. It was generous. Almost too generous. What's the catch? No catch, Harper said, meeting her eyes. I need the best in sustainable technology, and that's you. Your solar panel design is revolutionary, Olivia. It deserves to see the light of day, not die in a warehouse because of temporary financial setbacks. How do you know about the warehouse? Olivia asked sharply. Harper's expression remained neutral. I've followed your work, your patents, your publications, your company's progress. I believe in what you're doing. The admission hung in the air between them. Harper had been watching from a distance, keeping track of her life. Olivia didn't know whether to feel flattered or angry. This is just business, Olivia pressed. Just business, Harper confirmed, though her eyes told a different story. Olivia picked up the pen, her hand hovering over the signature line. Every instinct told her this was dangerous territory. But her employees' faces flashed in her mind. Sarah, the brilliant engineer who had turned down offers from Google to work with her. Marcus, the marketing genius who believed in GreenTech's mission. The entire team that had stood by her when everything fell apart. She signed. Harper's shoulders relaxed slightly, and she pulled out her phone. I'll initiate the transfer now, within minutes. Olivia's phone buzzed with a notification from her bank. $100,000 deposited. She stared at the number, relief and dread warring in her chest. Our first meeting is scheduled for next week, Harper said, sliding a calendar across the table. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m., here at this suite, unless you prefer another location. Here is fine, Olivia replied, already planning her exit strategy. 6 months. She could handle being professional with Harper for 6 months. She'd survived worse. As Olivia stood to leave, Harper spoke again, her voice quieter now. It's good to see you again, Liv. That nickname. No one else called her that. Olivia's carefully constructed walls trembled. Goodbye, Harper, she said firmly, walking to the door without looking back. But as she stepped into the elevator, Olivia caught her reflection in the mirrored walls. Her cheeks were flushed, her breathing slightly uneven. Despite everything, despite the pain and the years apart, Harper Sinclair still affected her in ways she didn't want to admit. This was going to be a very long 6 months. If you're enjoying this story of second chances and complicated love, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We share new romantic stories every week, and you won't want to miss what happens next between Olivia and Harper. The following week arrived too quickly. Olivia had thrown herself into work, using the sudden influx of cash to pay her team, settle debts, and restart production. The warehouse hummed with activity again, and the relief on her employees' faces made every uncomfortable moment ahead worthwhile. But Wednesday came regardless of her preparations. She arrived at the hotel suite at exactly 2 p.m., carrying her laptop and a folder of technical specifications. Professional distance, that was her strategy. Keep conversations focused on business, avoid personal topics, and never, under any circumstances, let Harper see how much those green eyes still affected her. Harper opened the door wearing black slacks and a cream silk blouse, her hair pulled back in a low ponytail. She looked softer somehow, less corporate than their first meeting. Right on time, Harper said with a slight smile. I ordered lunch. I hope you still like Thai food. Olivia's stomach betrayed her with a small growl. She had been too nervous to eat breakfast. Thai is fine. The conference table was set with takeout containers from Olivia's favorite restaurant, the same place they used to order from when they lived together. It couldn't be a coincidence. Pad see ew with tofu, extra vegetables, no peanuts, Harper said, gesturing to one of the containers. Unless your preferences have changed. They haven't, Olivia admitted, sitting down and trying to ignore the way her heart had skipped. Harper remembered. After 5 years, she still remembered Olivia's usual order. They ate in relative silence, the tension between them thick enough to cut. Finally, Harper pulled out a tablet and brought up a presentation. My firm is looking to invest in renewable energy projects across the Northeast, Harper began, her voice shifting into business mode. We have capital ready, but we need expert guidance on which technologies have real potential versus which ones are just hype. That's where you come in." Olivia leaned forward, examining the screen. Harper had compiled an impressive list of companies and patents, ranging from wind energy to hydroelectric systems to experimental biofuels. "This one is trash," Olivia said bluntly, pointing to a solar startup. "Their efficiency claims are mathematically impossible. They're either lying to investors or they don't understand their own technology." Harper made a note. "That matches my suspicions." "What about this one?" They fell into an easy rhythm, discussing technical specifications, market viability, and innovation potential. This was Olivia's element. Sustainable technology was her passion, and Harper had always been an excellent listener, asking insightful questions that pushed Olivia's thinking deeper. 2 hours passed without Olivia noticing. When she finally checked her watch, she was surprised. "I should go," Olivia said, beginning to pack up her materials. "Wait," Harper said, standing as well. "There's something else I wanted to discuss. Not business, personal." Olivia's guard immediately went up. "Our agreement was professional only." "I know," Harper said, running a hand through her hair in a gesture Olivia recognized as nervousness. "But I need to say this, and then I won't bring it up again if you don't want me to. I'm sorry, Olivia, for how I left, for choosing my career over us, for hurting you. I've regretted it every day since." The words hung in the air like smoke. Olivia felt her carefully constructed emotional barriers crack. "You don't get to do this," Olivia said, her voice shaking with suppressed emotion. "You don't get to walk back into my life with money and apologies and expect everything to be fine. You left, Harper. You chose New York and your career, and you didn't look back." "I looked back every single day," Harper said quietly. "I built my career, yes, I became successful, but I was miserable. Every achievement felt hollow because you weren't there to share it with." "Then why didn't you call? Why didn't you reach out?" Olivia demanded, years of hurt surfacing. "Because I thought you were better off without me," Harper admitted. "I thought I had hurt you too much, that you had moved on, that you wouldn't want to hear from me. It took your company being in trouble for me to have an excuse to contact you, and I hate that. I hate that I was such a coward." Olivia felt tears threatening, but refused to let them fall. "I can't do this right now. Our arrangement is business only, Harper. That's all it can be." She grabbed her bag and walked to the door, but Harper's voice stopped her. "I understand. But Olivia, I meant what I said. I'm sorry. And I'm here, whenever you're ready to talk. If you ever are." Olivia left without responding, her emotions in turmoil. Over the next few weeks, their Wednesday meetings continued. They maintained professional boundaries, discussing investments and technology with careful politeness. But small moments kept breaking through Olivia's defenses. Harper brought her favorite coffee without being asked. She remembered Olivia's pet peeve about people who didn't understand the difference between solar panels and solar thermal systems. She laughed at Olivia's dry humor in exactly the way she used to. And Olivia found herself looking forward to Wednesdays more than she wanted to admit. During their 5th meeting, they were reviewing a wind energy project in Vermont, when Harper's phone rang. She glanced at the screen and frowned. "I need to take this. It's about my mother. She's been ill." "Excuse me for a moment." Harper stepped onto the suite's balcony, and through the glass, Olivia could see the tension in her shoulders, the way she pressed her fingers to her temple. When Harper returned 10 minutes later, her eyes were red. "Is everything okay?" Olivia asked before she could stop herself. "She's in the hospital again," Harper said, her voice tight with control. "Stage 3 cancer. The treatments aren't working as well as they hoped." Olivia's heart clenched. She had met Harper's mother once, briefly, before their relationship ended. Margaret Sinclair had been warm and kind, insisting Olivia call her Maggie. "I'm so sorry," Olivia said softly. "Harper, we can reschedule. You should be with her." "She's in Seattle. I'm flying out tomorrow," Harper said, then laughed bitterly. "The irony isn't lost on me. I moved to New York for my career, pushed everyone away, and now when it matters most, I'm too far away from the people I love." The vulnerability in Harper's voice broke something in Olivia. Despite everything, Despite the hurt and the anger, she couldn't stand seeing Harper in pain. "Go be with her," Olivia said firmly. "Family is more important than any business meeting. We can work remotely if needed." Harper looked at her with such gratitude that Olivia had to look away. "Thank you," Harper whispered. After Harper left for Seattle, Olivia found herself thinking about her constantly. She sent a simple text, "Thinking of you and your mom. Let me know if you need anything." Harper's response came hours later. "That means more than you know." They exchanged messages over the next week. Nothing romantic, just small updates and words of support. Harper sent photos of Seattle's rainy streets from the hospital window. Olivia sent pictures of the green tech team celebrating their first completed order in months. When Harper returned to Boston 2 weeks later, something had shifted between them. The walls were still there, but they had developed cracks. Their next meeting began with Harper looking exhausted, but calmer. "She's stable. The new treatment is showing promise. Thank you for checking in. It helped more than you know." "I'm glad she's doing better," Olivia said sincerely. They worked through their agenda, but the atmosphere felt different. Lighter somehow. When Harper made a joke about a particularly pretentious investor's proposal, Olivia laughed, really laughed, for the first time in their meetings. "I missed that sound," Harper said without thinking, then caught herself. "Sorry, professional boundaries." "It's okay," Olivia said, surprising herself. "Maybe we can be friendly professionals. We have history, but that doesn't mean we have to pretend we're strangers." Harper's face lit up with hope. "I'd like that." As their meetings continued, Olivia found herself sharing more. Her frustrations with manufacturing delays, her excitement about a new patent application, her concerns about scaling production. Harper listened intently, offered genuine business advice, and occasionally shared her own challenges in the investment world. They were building something new, not quite friendship, not romance, but a connection that acknowledged their past while creating space for something different. One Wednesday, Harper surprised her. "I have tickets to the symphony on Friday. Brahms. I remember you loved his work. Would you want to go?" "As friends," she added quickly. Olivia hesitated. Attending the symphony together felt like crossing a line, but Harper's expression was so hopeful, and Olivia realized she wanted to say yes. "As friends," Olivia agreed. Friday evening, they met at Symphony Hall. Harper wore a dark blue dress that made her eyes even more striking, and Olivia had chosen a burgundy jumpsuit that she knew looked good. They weren't dating. They were just two people who appreciated classical music attending a concert together, except it felt like more. During the performance, Olivia was acutely aware of Harper sitting beside her, the subtle scent of her perfume. Something new, something sophisticated, the way Harper's hand rested on the armrest between them, close enough that Olivia could feel its warmth. When the orchestra played Brahms's Third Symphony, Olivia felt tears prick her eyes. The music was beautiful and heartbreaking, and she remembered listening to this exact piece with Harper years ago, dancing in their living room with terrible form but perfect happiness. Harper must have remembered too, because she glanced over, and their eyes met in the darkness of the concert hall. The moment stretched between them, charged with memory and possibility. After the concert, they walked through Boston Common, the autumn air crisp and cool. Street lamps cast golden pools of light on the paths, and other couples wandered past holding hands. "Thank you for coming," Harper said softly. "I know it's complicated between us." "It is," Olivia agreed. "But tonight was nice. Really nice." They stopped near the fountain, facing each other. The space between them felt electric. "Olivia, I need to tell you something," Harper began, her voice serious. "The consulting arrangement, it wasn't just about business. It was an excuse to see you again, to have you in my life somehow. I never stopped loving you, not for a single day in these 5 years." Olivia's breath caught. The confession hung between them, terrifying and exhilarating. "Harper," Olivia started, but didn't know how to finish. "You don't have to say anything," Harper said quickly. "I just needed you to know, whatever happens next, you should know the truth about how I feel." Olivia looked at Harper, really looked at her, at the woman who had broken her heart, but who had also been her best friend, her partner, her love. At the vulnerability in those green eyes, the hope mixed with fear. "I don't know if I can trust you again," Olivia admitted honestly. "You hurt me so badly, Harper. I spent a year putting myself back together." "I know," Harper said, pain crossing her face. "And I'll spend however long it takes earning back your trust, if you'll let me try." They stood in silence, the weight of the moment pressing down on them. "I need time," Olivia finally said. "I need to figure out what I want, what I can handle. But I'm not saying no, I'm just saying, not yet." Harper nodded, a small smile breaking through. Not yet is better than never. As they parted ways that night, Olivia felt something she hadn't experienced in years: hope. Maybe, just maybe, second chances were possible. The weeks following the symphony concert brought a subtle shift in Olivia and Harper's dynamic. Their Wednesday meetings remained professional, but the conversations lingered longer. Harper would share stories about her investment firm's challenges, and Olivia found herself offering advice beyond just technical specifications. They were learning each other again, not as the people they used to be, but as who they had become. GreenTech Solutions was thriving. With the financial breathing room Harper's investment had provided, Olivia secured 2 major contracts with commercial building developers interested in her innovative solar technology. Her team had expanded to 8 employees, and the warehouse buzzed with productive energy. Sarah, her lead engineer, cornered Olivia one afternoon as she was preparing for another meeting with Harper. "Boss, can I ask you something personal?" Sarah asked, her expression concerned. "Sure," Olivia replied, closing her laptop. "You've seemed different lately, happier, but also more distracted. Is everything okay?" Olivia considered the question. Was everything okay? Her business was succeeding. Her technology was finally getting recognition. But her emotional life was a tangled mess of old feelings and new possibilities. "I'm working with someone from my past," Olivia admitted. "It's complicated." Sarah nodded knowingly. "The mysterious consultant who always meets you at that fancy hotel? Marcus thinks she's a former professor. I guessed ex-girlfriend." Olivia laughed despite herself. "You guessed right. Harper Sinclair. We dated 5 years ago. She's the investor who provided the initial capital that saved us." "And now?" Sarah asked gently. "Now I don't know," Olivia said honestly. "She hurt me badly when she left, but she's also the reason we're still in business. And she's trying. Really trying to make amends. Do you still love her?" The question hit Olivia like a physical blow. Did she? She had convinced herself she was over Harper, that the wounds had healed. But lately, every Wednesday meeting left her heart racing. Every text exchange made her smile. Every shared memory felt like rediscovering a piece of herself she thought she'd lost. "I don't know," Olivia repeated. But it felt like a lie. That Wednesday's meeting brought unexpected news. Harper greeted her with barely contained excitement. "I have something to show you," Harper said, pulling up her laptop. "Remember that Vermont wind project we discussed? And the hydroelectric system in New Hampshire? My firm is moving forward with both based on your recommendations. You're going to be credited as the technical consultant, and there's a performance bonus written into our contract, $50,000. Olivia stared at the screen, reading the documents. "Harper, this is incredible, but the bonus wasn't part of our original agreement. Consider it recognition of exceptional work," Harper said with a grin. "Your insights saved us from making several costly mistakes, and your expertise has been invaluable. You've earned this, Olivia." The genuine pride in Harper's voice made Olivia's chest tight with emotion. Harper had always believed in her abilities, even when Olivia doubted herself. "There's something else," Harper continued, her expression becoming more serious. "My firm wants to do a site visit to GreenTech. They want to see your operation firsthand and discuss potential direct investment. This could be huge for your company. We're talking about the kind of capital that would let you scale nationally." Olivia's mind raced. National expansion had always been the dream, but she'd never had the resources to pursue it. This opportunity could transform everything. "When?" she asked. 2 weeks from Friday. My partners will fly in from New York. Full-day visit, presentations, facility tour, the works. "We'll be ready," Olivia said, already planning. This was her chance to prove that GreenTech wasn't just viable, it was exceptional. The next 2 weeks were a whirlwind. Olivia and her team worked overtime preparing presentations, organizing the warehouse, and perfecting their prototypes. Harper helped from behind the scenes, providing insights into what investors looked for and how to frame their value proposition. Their text exchanges became more frequent, shifting from purely business to something warmer. Harper, don't stay at the office too late. You need sleep to be sharp for the presentation. Olivia, says the woman who sent me investment reports at 2 a.m. last week. Harper, guilty. But seriously, take care of yourself. You've got this. The night before the site visit, Olivia was at the office past midnight, reviewing every detail. Her phone rang. Harper calling, not texting. You're still there, aren't you? Harper's voice was warm with amusement and concern. How did you know? Olivia asked, leaning back in her chair. Because I know you. When something matters, you give it everything. But Liv, you've prepared as much as you can. Go home, get rest, trust in the work you've done. Hearing that nickname again sent warmth through Olivia's chest. You're right. I just want everything to be perfect. It will be. You're brilliant, your team is talented, and your technology is revolutionary. My partners are going to see what I see, something worth investing in. They talked for another hour, the conversation drifting from business to music, to memories of Boston before Harper had left. It felt like old times, like when they used to talk for hours about everything and nothing. I should let you go, Harper finally said, though she sounded reluctant. Harper? Olivia said, before she could stop herself. Thank you, for believing in me, for this opportunity, for everything. Always, Harper replied softly. I'll always believe in you. The site visit exceeded Olivia's expectations. Harper arrived with 3 partners from her firm, 2 men and a woman, all sharp-dressed and intimidatingly professional. But Olivia's presentation was flawless. She walked them through the technology, demonstrated the efficiency gains, showed them the market projections, and introduced them to her passionate, talented team. Sarah's technical demonstration of the solar panel system was particularly impressive. Marcus's marketing presentation highlighted the growing demand for sustainable solutions. The investors asked tough questions, but Olivia had answers for everything. During the facility tour, Harper hung back while her partners examined equipment. She caught Olivia's eye and gave her a subtle thumbs up, and Olivia had to suppress a smile. After the visit concluded and the investors departed, Harper stayed behind. The warehouse was quiet now, just the 2 of them. That was incredible, Harper said, her eyes shining with admiration. Olivia, you absolutely crushed it. They're going to recommend a major investment. I could tell from their reactions. You think so? Olivia asked, allowing herself to hope. I know so, Harper said, stepping closer. You were amazing, confident, knowledgeable, passionate. I was so proud watching you. The space between them felt charged. They were standing in Olivia's warehouse, surrounded by the technology she'd built, discussing business. But the undercurrent was entirely personal. I couldn't have done this without you, Olivia admitted. The initial investment, the consulting arrangement, the introduction to your partners, you made all of this possible. You made it possible, Harper corrected. I just opened a door. You walked through it and built something extraordinary. Their eyes locked, and Olivia felt her carefully maintained boundaries crumbling. Harper was close enough that Olivia could see the flecks of gold in her green eyes, could smell her familiar perfume. Harper, Olivia started, but her words trailed off. I know this is complicated, Harper said quietly. I know I hurt you, and I know you need time. But Olivia, being around you these past months has been the best part of my life. Seeing you succeed, watching your dreams come true, just being near you. It reminds me of who I was when we were together. The better version of myself. Olivia's heart hammered in her chest. Every logical part of her brain screamed caution, but her heart was drowning out the warnings. What are you saying? Olivia whispered. I'm saying I want another chance, Harper said, vulnerability etched across her features. Not to go back to who we were, but to discover who we could be now. I'm saying I love you, Olivia Bennett. I never stopped, and I don't think I ever will. The confession hung between them, heavy with possibility and risk. Olivia felt tears threatening, from fear, from hope, from 5 years of buried feelings surging to the surface. "I'm scared," Olivia admitted, her voice breaking. "I'm scared of getting hurt again. I'm scared of letting you back in and having you leave when something better comes along." "I won't leave," Harper said firmly, taking Olivia's hands in hers. "I learned the hard way that nothing is better than being with the person you love. Success means nothing if you're miserable. I chose wrong 5 years ago, and it's the biggest regret of my life. If you give me another chance, I will choose you every single day. I promise." Olivia looked down at their joined hands, at Harper's thumb tracing gentle circles on her palm, a gesture so familiar it made her ache with memory. "I still love you too," Olivia finally whispered, the admission feeling like jumping off a cliff. "I tried not to. I tried to move on, but Harper, you've been in my heart this whole time, and I don't think you ever left." Harper's face transformed with joy and relief. "Does this mean—" "It means I'm willing to try," Olivia said, looking up to meet Harper's eyes, slowly, carefully. "But yes, I want to see if we can make this work." Harper pulled Olivia into an embrace, and Olivia melted into it, feeling like she'd finally come home. They stood there in the quiet warehouse, holding each other, years of separation dissolving in that single moment. When they finally pulled apart, both had tears streaming down their faces, but they were smiling. "So what happens now?" Olivia asked. "Now we take it one day at a time," Harper said, brushing a strand of hair from Olivia's face. "We learn each other again. We build trust. We create something new together, one day at a time," Olivia echoed, and it felt like a promise. As they left the warehouse together that evening, walking side by side under the Boston streetlights, Olivia felt something she hadn't experienced in 5 years: complete happiness. The road ahead might be complicated, but for the first time, she believed they could navigate it together. If you're invested in Olivia and Harper's journey, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We share heartfelt stories about love, second chances, and following your heart. You'll love what we have coming next. The weeks following their reconciliation brought a mixture of joy and challenge. Olivia and Harper navigated their renewed relationship with cautious optimism, learning each other again while building something stronger than what they'd had before. They started slowly: coffee dates before their Wednesday meetings, walks along the Charles River, dinners at small restaurants where they could talk for hours. Harper was patient, never pushing, always letting Olivia set the pace. And Olivia found herself gradually lowering her defenses, allowing Harper back into her life piece by piece. The investment from Harper's firm came through with stunning speed. $3 million allocated to green tech solutions, with Harper's partners impressed enough to fast-track the paperwork. Olivia suddenly found herself planning national expansion, hiring additional staff, and fielding interest from major corporations. "This is insane," Olivia said one Wednesday afternoon, staring at her laptop screen filled with contract proposals. "6 months ago, I was facing bankruptcy. Now I'm negotiating with Fortune 500 companies." Harper smiled from across the conference table. "Success looks good on you, though I have to admit, I liked you just as much when you were barely sleeping and surviving on terrible coffee." "The coffee is still terrible," Olivia laughed. "Some things never change, and some things do," Harper said meaningfully. "We've changed, Liv, both of us. We're stronger individually, which I think makes us stronger together." It was true. The Olivia who had watched Harper leave 5 years ago had been younger, less confident in her abilities, more dependent on their relationship for validation. The Olivia who existed now had built a company from scratch, had survived failure and clawed her way back, had proven to herself that she was capable of extraordinary things. And Harper was different too. The woman who had left for New York chasing success at any cost had learned that achievement without connection felt hollow. She was still ambitious and driven, but she had gained perspective on what truly mattered. Their relationship developed its own rhythm. Harper would show up at Green Tech with lunch, joining Olivia and her team for casual conversations that had nothing to do with investments. Olivia started attending some of Harper's work events, standing beside her at networking functions and watching her expertly navigate the business world. One evening, at a charity gala for renewable energy initiatives, Olivia watched Harper give a speech about the importance of sustainable investment. Harper spoke with passion and conviction, her words moving the room. When she finished, her eyes immediately sought out Olivia in the crowd, and the smile that crossed her face was purely personal. "You're staring," Sarah whispered beside Olivia. She had insisted on coming along for the free champagne and people watching. "Can you blame me?" Olivia whispered back. "Look at her up there. She's incredible." "You're smitten," Sarah teased. "It's adorable and slightly nauseating." Olivia laughed. "I really am, aren't I? After everything, after all my promises to guard my heart, I'm completely smitten." "Good," Sarah said firmly. "You deserve to be happy. And for what it's worth, I've seen how she looks at you. That woman is head over heels." Later that night, Harper drove Olivia home, a route that was becoming increasingly familiar. They sat in the car outside Olivia's apartment, neither quite ready for the evening to end. "Thank you for coming tonight," Harper said. "Having you there meant everything." "You were brilliant," Olivia replied. "Watching you speak about sustainable energy with such passion, I remembered why I fell in love with you in the first place. You care about making a real difference." Harper turned to face her fully. "I do. But Olivia, you're the one actually making that difference. Your technology, your vision, that's what changes the world. I just help fund it. We make a good team," Olivia said softly. "We do," Harper agreed, reaching over to take Olivia's hand. In business and in life, they sat in comfortable silence, fingers intertwined, until Olivia's phone buzzed with a notification. She glanced at it and frowned. "Problem?" Harper asked. "Email from a reporter," Olivia said, reading quickly. "They want to do a profile on green tech for the Boston Business Journal. Major piece about innovative startups. That's wonderful," Harper said enthusiastically. "The exposure would be incredible for the company. They want to include background on how we got our initial investment," Olivia continued, her frown deepening. "They've done research and know about our consulting arrangement. They're asking about our relationship, professional and personal." The implications hung in the air. Going public about their relationship meant exposure, scrutiny, and potentially awkward questions about the nature of Harper's investment. "What do you want to do?" Harper asked carefully. Olivia considered. In the past, she might have hidden, kept their relationship private to avoid complications. But she wasn't that person anymore. "I want to tell the truth," Olivia decided. "Yes, we have a personal history. Yes, we're together now. But that doesn't diminish the legitimacy of your firm's investment. Green Tech's success speaks for itself." Harper's face lit up with pride and relief. "You're sure? I don't want you to feel pressured." "I'm sure," Olivia said firmly. "I'm not hiding who I am or who I love. Not anymore." The word love slipped out naturally, and both of them noticed. They hadn't explicitly said those words to each other yet in this new phase of their relationship, despite Harper's earlier confession. "You love me?" Harper asked softly, hope and joy mixing in her expression. Olivia felt her cheeks warm, but didn't look away. "I do. I know we're taking things slow, but Harper, I love you. Not who you were 5 years ago, but who you are now. Who we are together." Harper's eyes filled with tears. "I love you too. God, Olivia, I love you so much." They leaned toward each other, and their lips met in a kiss that felt like coming home and starting fresh all at once. It was tender and passionate, familiar yet new, carrying 5 years of longing and the promise of a future they were building together. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathless and smiling. "So we're doing this," Olivia said. "Really doing this. Public relationship, no hiding, full commitment." "Full commitment," Harper echoed, squeezing Olivia's hand. "I'm all in, Liv. For as long as you'll have me." "How about forever?" Olivia teased. "Forever sounds perfect." The interview with the Boston Business Journal took place the following week. The reporter was professional and interested primarily in green tech's technology and growth trajectory. When she asked about the relationship between Olivia and Harper, Olivia answered honestly. "Harper and I have a personal history that predates the business relationship," Olivia explained. "We dated years ago, lost touch, and reconnected through this consulting arrangement. Yes, we're together now." But anyone who looks at GreenTech's performance metrics, our patents, our client list, and our growth trajectory will see that this company succeeds on its own merits. Harper's firm invested because the technology is revolutionary and the business model is sound. The article came out 2 weeks later with the headline, GreenTech Solutions, Where Innovation Meets Investment. It was overwhelmingly positive, focusing on Olivia's technical achievements and the company's potential. The relationship with Harper was mentioned, but framed as a side note, two successful businesswomen who had found both professional synergy and personal happiness. The response was largely supportive. Olivia received congratulatory emails from industry contacts, interview requests from other publications, and most importantly, new contract inquiries. The exposure translated directly into business opportunities. But not everyone was supportive. During a team meeting, Marcus raised a concern. "Boss, I'm seeing some comments on LinkedIn and industry forums. A few people are questioning whether Harper's investment was purely professional, implying that you somehow manipulated the situation." Olivia felt anger flash through her. She had worked too hard and sacrificed too much to have her success diminished by insinuations. "Let them talk," Olivia said firmly. "Anyone who actually understands our technology knows that it stands on its own. We're not going to waste energy defending ourselves against baseless speculation. We'll let our results speak for us." Sarah nodded approvingly. "Damn right. Besides, if people can't handle the fact that queer women can be successful in tech and business, that's their problem, not ours." The team rallied around Olivia, and she felt grateful for their loyalty. But that evening, when she met Harper for dinner, she couldn't hide her frustration. "People are saying I slept my way to success," Olivia said bluntly after they ordered. "Like 5 years of research, 2 patents, and a revolutionary solar panel design mean nothing because I'm dating my investor." Harper's expression darkened with anger. "That's ridiculous and sexist and homophobic. Your credentials speak for themselves, Olivia. Anyone saying otherwise is either ignorant or threatened by your success." "I know that logically," Olivia said, "but it still stings. I've worked so hard." "You have," Harper agreed, reaching across the table to take her hand. "And the people whose opinions actually matter. Your clients, your team, the legitimate investors and industry experts, they all see your brilliance. Don't let a few narrow-minded jerks diminish what you've accomplished." Olivia squeezed her hand gratefully. "You're right. I'm not going to let this get to me. That's my girl," Harper said with a proud smile. As they ate dinner, talk turned to future plans. Harper had been considering expanding her firm's renewable energy investment portfolio, and she wanted Olivia's input on potential acquisitions. "There's a small solar company in California that might be worth looking at," Olivia suggested. "Their technology isn't as advanced as ours, but they have strong manufacturing infrastructure. Could be a good acquisition target for GreenTech if we're looking to expand West Coast production." "You're thinking about acquisition already?" Harper asked, impressed. "I'm thinking about growth," Olivia corrected. "GreenTech has the best technology. Now we need the infrastructure to scale nationally. Strategic acquisitions could get us there faster than building from scratch." They spent the next hour discussing business strategy, their minds working in sync the way they always had. This was what Olivia loved. Harper challenged her thinking, asked insightful questions, and genuinely cared about helping her succeed. "We really do make a good team," Harper said, echoing Olivia's earlier sentiment. "In business and in life," Olivia agreed, raising her wine glass in a toast. They clinked glasses, and in that moment, Olivia felt completely certain about their future. They had weathered the storms of separation, rebuilt trust from scratch, and proven that second chances could be even better than first ones. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. 3 months later, GreenTech Solutions had expanded beyond Olivia's wildest dreams. They had opened a West Coast office, hired 30 new employees, and secured contracts with major corporations across the country. Olivia's solar technology was being installed in commercial buildings from Boston to San Francisco, and industry publications were calling her one of the most innovative minds in renewable energy. Harper's investment firm had become a leader in sustainable technology funding, with Harper herself gaining recognition as a visionary investor who could identify revolutionary innovations before they hit mainstream. She had been featured in Forbes, and her TED Talk on ethical investing had gone viral. Individually, they were thriving. Together, they were unstoppable. Their relationship had deepened into something solid and real. Harper had all but moved into Olivia's apartment, her belongings gradually appearing until it made more sense to just officially live together. They had established rituals, Sunday morning farmers market runs, Thursday evening jazz club visits, late-night conversations about everything from quantum physics to their favorite childhood memories. They had also worked through the hard conversations. Olivia had expressed her lingering fears about abandonment, and Harper had listened without defensiveness, proving through consistent actions that she was committed for the long haul. Harper had opened up about her own insecurities, the fear that she had damaged their relationship beyond repair, the worry that she didn't deserve Olivia's forgiveness. They were building something stronger than what they'd had before, forged in the fire of loss and tempered by hard-won maturity. One crisp November evening, Harper suggested they visit the Boston Public Garden. It was the place where they had first said, "I love you," years ago. Sitting on a bench overlooking the pond as the sun set. "Feeling nostalgic?" Olivia asked as they walked hand in hand along the familiar paths. "Something like that," Harper said with a mysterious smile. They found their old bench. Remarkably, it was empty despite the beautiful weather. They sat down, and Olivia leaned against Harper's shoulder, feeling completely content. "Do you remember the first time we sat here?" Harper asked softly. "Of course," Olivia replied. "You had just landed your first major client, and I had just submitted my patent application. We felt like the world was full of possibilities." "It was," Harper said. "But I was stupid enough to think those possibilities meant we had to be apart. I thought success required sacrifice, that I had to choose between my career and my heart." "Harper, we've talked about this," Olivia said gently. "You're forgiven. We've moved past it." "I know," Harper said. "But I need to say this. Olivia Bennett, you are the most brilliant, passionate, stubborn, incredible person I've ever known. These past months, building our relationship again, watching you succeed, being part of your life, have been the happiest of my existence. And I never want to be without you again." Harper shifted, sliding off the bench to kneel on one knee. Olivia's breath caught as Harper pulled out a small velvet box. "Olivia, I asked you to save my company from bankruptcy and offered you $100,000. But the truth is, you saved me. You saved me from a life of hollow success and empty achievements. You reminded me what really matters. And I want to spend the rest of my life proving that I know that now." Harper opened the box, revealing a stunning ring, a sapphire surrounded by small diamonds, set in platinum. The sapphire was the exact color of Olivia's favorite ocean view in Maine, where they had once vacationed together. "Will you marry me?" Harper asked, her voice thick with emotion. "Will you let me love you for the rest of our lives, through every success and every challenge, through building businesses and building a home together? Will you be my partner in everything?" Tears streamed down Olivia's face as she looked at Harper, this woman who had left and come back, who had hurt her and then spent months proving her commitment, who had believed in her when no one else did. "Yes," Olivia whispered. Then louder, "Yes, of course yes." Harper slipped the ring onto Olivia's finger with shaking hands, then stood and pulled her into a kiss that was witnessed by several delighted tourists who immediately started applauding. They broke apart laughing, both crying happy tears. "You knew I'd say yes?" Olivia asked, admiring the ring. "I hoped," Harper admitted. "But with you, I've learned never to take anything for granted. You're worth fighting for, worth waiting for, worth spending a lifetime proving myself to." They stayed on that bench until after dark, making plans and dreaming about their future. They talked about where they might have the wedding, whether Olivia's team would insist on decorating with solar panels, whether Harper's mother would cry the entire ceremony. "I want Green Tech headquarters as the venue," Olivia said suddenly. "We built that company from nothing, Harper. It represents everything we've overcome. I want to celebrate our future in the place that symbolizes our resilience." "That's perfect," Harper agreed, "though we might need to make sure there's actual seating and not just equipment." Details. Olivia waved dismissively, making Harper laugh. As they finally stood to leave, Harper pulled Olivia close once more. I have a confession to make about the original proposal, the business one. Oh? Olivia asked. The $100,000? I would have given you $1 million if you'd needed it. I would have given you everything I had. The consulting arrangement was just an excuse to be near you, to have a legitimate reason to be in your life. I was hoping that if I could just spend time with you, maybe you'd give me another chance. Olivia shook her head with amused exasperation. You're telling me you engineered this entire thing? I engineered the opportunity, Harper corrected. You did everything else. You saved your company with your brilliance and hard work. I just held the door open. You did more than that, Olivia said seriously. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. You gave me the resources to succeed, yes, but more importantly, you gave me a reason to hope again, for the business and for us. They walked back through Boston streets toward home. They're home now, officially. Olivia kept looking at her ring, watching it catch the streetlights. Have I mentioned that you have excellent taste in jewelry? Olivia asked. Once or twice in the past 10 minutes, Harper laughed. But feel free to keep mentioning it. The next morning, they made phone calls to share the news. Olivia called her parents, who were thrilled and immediately started planning. Harper called her mother in Seattle, who cried with happiness, and made Harper promise to bring Olivia to visit soon. The Green Tech team found out when Olivia arrived at work, and Sarah immediately spotted the ring. Oh my God! Sarah shrieked, grabbing Olivia's hand. She proposed! The entire office erupted in celebration. Marcus produced champagne from somewhere. Olivia suspected he'd been keeping it on hand for this exact occasion. The team toasted to love, second chances, and the power of sustainable energy to bring people together. Speech! Someone called out. Olivia laughed but obliged, climbing up on a chair. Okay. So many of you know that Harper and I have a complicated history. We loved each other, we lost each other, and through the strangest twist of fate involving bankruptcy and business proposals, we found each other again. This company, what we've built together here, represents the same resilience that saved our relationship. We don't give up when things get hard. We innovate, we adapt, and we fight for what matters. Harper taught me that second chances are possible if you're willing to do the work. And all of you have shown me that believing in people pays off. So thank you for sticking with Green Tech when things were uncertain, for believing in our mission, and for being the best team I could possibly ask for. The office erupted in applause and more champagne toasts. It was a perfect moment. Professional success and personal happiness intertwined so completely that Olivia couldn't imagine separating them. That evening, Harper surprised Olivia with a celebratory dinner at their favorite restaurant. The one where they'd first reconnected over Thai food all those months ago. I have another confession, Harper said over dessert. More confessions? Olivia teased. Should I be worried? This is a good one, I promise, Harper said. Remember when I told you that my firm's investment in Green Tech was based solely on the technology's merit? Yes, that was true. But I've been working on something else behind the scenes. My firm is establishing a new venture capital fund specifically for women-led sustainable technology companies. $50 million in initial capital, with you as the lead technical advisor and board member, if you want the position. Olivia stared at her, stunned. Harper, that's incredible. That could change the entire landscape for women entrepreneurs in our field. That's the idea, Harper said with a smile. Too many brilliant women with revolutionary ideas can't get funding because traditional investors don't take them seriously. We're going to change that, and I can't think of anyone better to help lead this initiative than you. Of course I'll do it, Olivia said immediately. Harper, this is amazing. You're amazing. We're amazing, Harper corrected. Together we're going to change the world. One solar panel and one smart investment at a time. They raised their glasses in yet another toast, and Olivia felt a wave of gratitude for the strange journey that had brought them back together. The bankruptcy that had seemed like the end had actually been a beginning. Harper's proposal, both the business one and the personal one, had opened doors to a future Olivia had never imagined possible. Over the following months, they planned their wedding while simultaneously launching the new venture capital fund. Both projects consumed their time and energy, but they navigated the chaos together with humor and partnership. The wedding took place at GreenTech headquarters on a sunny Saturday in May. The warehouse had been transformed with flowers, string lights, and yes, several solar panels artfully arranged as decorations because Olivia's team insisted. 200 guests filled the space: family, friends, business associates, and the entire GreenTech team. Harper wore a tailored black suit that made her look like she'd stepped out of a magazine. Olivia chose a flowing white dress with subtle gold embroidery. They had written their own vows. Harper went first, her voice steady despite the tears in her eyes. "Olivia, I once made the worst mistake of my life by walking away from you. I thought success meant choosing career over love, achievement over connection. I was wrong. Real success is standing here today, promising to spend my life loving you. It's watching you change the world with your brilliance. It's being your partner in every adventure. You saved my company from the bankruptcy of a life without meaning. You gave me everything that matters. I promise to choose you every single day for the rest of our lives." Olivia's turn came, and she had to take a breath to steady herself. "Harper, when you called me with that first proposal, save your company and I'll give you $100,000, I thought you were offering me a business deal. I didn't realize you were offering me my life back. These past months have taught me that second chances exist, that love can survive separation and grow stronger, that the person who hurt you can also be the person who heals you. I choose you, Harper Sinclair. I choose us. I choose the messy, complicated, beautiful partnership we've built today and always." When they kissed as the officiant pronounced them married, the warehouse erupted in applause and cheers. Solar panels glinted in the afternoon sun streaming through the windows, and Olivia thought it was the most perfect moment she'd ever experienced. At the reception, Sarah gave a toast that had everyone laughing and crying. "I've watched our boss build a company from scratch while nursing a broken heart. I've seen her work 20-hour days, survive near bankruptcy, and revolutionize an entire industry, but I've never seen her as happy as..." At the reception, Sarah gave a toast that had everyone laughing and crying. "I've watched our boss build a company from scratch while nursing a broken heart. I've seen her work 20-hour days, survive near bankruptcy, and revolutionize an entire industry. But I've never seen her as happy as she is when Harper walks into the room." To Olivia and Harper, may your love be as sustainable as your solar panels and as powerful as your combined brilliance. Cheers! The celebration continued late into the night, with dancing, laughter, and speeches that ranged from heartfelt to hilariously embarrassing. Harper's college roommate shared stories about young Harper practicing investment pitches in their dorm room. Olivia's graduate school advisor talked about the moment he realized she would change the renewable energy landscape. When they finally had a quiet moment alone on the makeshift dance floor, Harper pulled Olivia close as a slow song played. "How does it feel, Mrs. Sinclair Bennett?" Harper asked, using their chosen hyphenated surname. "Perfect," Olivia replied, resting her head on Harper's shoulder. "Everything about today has been perfect, though I still can't believe my team actually incorporated solar panels into the decorations. It's very on brand," Harper laughed. "I wouldn't have expected anything less." They swayed together, surrounded by the people who mattered most, and the technology that represented their shared commitment to making the world better. The warehouse that had once been a symbol of failure was now filled with celebration, proof that endings could become beautiful beginnings. "So what's next for us?" Olivia asked. "We've conquered bankruptcy, rebuilt our relationship, launched a venture capital fund, and gotten married. What do we tackle next?" Harper pulled back slightly to look into Olivia's eyes, her expression thoughtful. "How do you feel about expanding GreenTech internationally? I've been approached by investors in Europe who are interested in sustainable technology partnerships, and there's significant momentum in the climate tech sector. Boston's ecosystem is growing rapidly with support from initiatives like MassSec and various accelerators." "You want to take GreenTech global?" Olivia asked, intrigued. "I want us to change the world," Harper corrected. "Your technology could reduce carbon emissions across multiple continents. The infrastructure is ready. There's unprecedented support for climate innovation. Funding opportunities are expanding. and cities worldwide are actively seeking sustainable solutions. We have the expertise, the capital, and the network. Why not think bigger? Olivia considered this, her mind already racing with possibilities. International markets meant new challenges, different regulations, cultural considerations, establishing manufacturing partnerships abroad. But it also meant exponential impact. More buildings powered by clean energy, more carbon emissions reduced, more proof that sustainable solutions could be profitable and scalable. You know what? Olivia said, a smile spreading across her face. Let's do it. Let's take on the world together. Together, Harper echoed, sealing the promise with a kiss. As the night wound down and guests began to leave, Olivia took one last look around the decorated warehouse. 6 months ago, she had been sitting in this exact space, staring at bankruptcy papers and wondering if her dream was over. Harper's proposal, "Save my company and I'll give you $100,000, had seemed like a desperate lifeline from an unexpected source, but it had been so much more than that. It had been the beginning of a second chance, the first step toward healing old wounds, and the foundation for building something stronger than either of them could have created alone. "Ready to start our honeymoon?" Harper asked, coming up behind her and wrapping her arms around Olivia's waist. "Where are we going again?" Olivia asked, leaning back into the embrace. "It's a surprise," Harper said mysteriously, "but I promise it involves a beach, no business calls, and at least a week of uninterrupted time together. The companies can survive without us for a few days." "A whole week?" Olivia teased. "Can you handle being away from spreadsheets that long? For you?" "I can handle anything," Harper replied, turning Olivia to face her. "You're worth more than any investment, any deal, any achievement. You're my everything, Liv, and I'm going to spend the rest of our lives proving it." Olivia kissed her, pouring 5 years of heartbreak, months of rebuilding, and a lifetime of love into that moment. When they pulled apart, both were smiling through happy tears. "Let's go start our forever," Olivia said, taking Harper's hand. They walked out of the warehouse together, past the solar panels that represented innovation and resilience, past the workstations where Olivia's team would continue advancing sustainable technology, past the conference room where so many Wednesday meetings had transformed business discussions into renewed love. The Boston night was clear and beautiful, stars visible despite the city lights. Their car was waiting, decorated with "Just Married" signs courtesy of the overly enthusiastic green tech team. "One more thing before we go," Harper said, pulling out her phone. "I want to document this moment." She held up the phone for a selfie, both of them beaming with pure joy. In the background, the green tech building stood proud, its windows reflecting the streetlights like the solar panels inside reflected sunshine, taking something abundant and transforming it into power. Harper posted the photo with a simple caption: "From bankruptcy to forever. Thank you for giving me a second chance at everything that matters. I love you, Mrs. Sinclair Bennett." Within minutes, congratulations poured in from their extended network. Investors, entrepreneurs, friends, and colleagues, all celebrating their union. As they drove toward their secret honeymoon destination, Olivia reflected on the unexpected journey that had brought them to this moment. Harper's proposal had offered $100,000 to save a company. But what she had really saved was infinitely more valuable: 2 hearts that belonged together, a partnership that could change the world, and proof that the greatest innovations weren't always technological. Sometimes the most revolutionary act was choosing love, choosing forgiveness, and choosing to believe that broken things could be made whole again. "What are you thinking about?" Harper asked, glancing over from the driver's seat. "I'm thinking that when you called me 6 months ago, I thought you were offering me a business deal," Olivia said softly. "But you were actually offering me my life back." Harper reached over to squeeze her hand. "You gave me mine too. Everything I achieved meant nothing without you to share it with. You're my greatest success, Olivia. Everything else is just details." They drove through the Boston streets where their love story had begun, fallen apart, and been reborn. Past the hotel where they'd had their first post-breakup meeting, past the symphony hall where they'd reconnected over Brahms, past the public garden where Harper had proposed. Every location held memories, some painful, some beautiful, all essential to the journey that had led them here. "Hey, Harper," Olivia said as they merged onto the highway. the city lights fading behind them. Yeah, love? The proposal you made about saving my company, it was the best investment either of us ever made. Harper smiled, raising their joined hands to kiss Olivia's knuckles. Best return on investment ever. I gave you $100,000 and got a lifetime with you in return. I'd say I came out ahead on that deal. We both did, Olivia agreed. We both won. And as they drove toward whatever adventures awaited them, international expansion, new technologies, global impact, and a lifetime of partnership, both women knew that the greatest success wasn't measured in dollars, patents, or accolades. It was measured in love, rediscovered, trust rebuilt, and two people who had learned that second chances, when handled with care and commitment, could become the greatest gift of all. The bankruptcy that had almost destroyed Olivia's company had instead become the catalyst for saving something far more precious: their hearts, their partnership, and their shared future. Harper's proposal hadn't just offered financial rescue, it had offered hope, healing, and a road back to each other. And that, they both agreed as the Boston skyline disappeared in the rearview mirror, was worth infinitely more than any amount of money could buy. If you loved Olivia and Harper's journey from heartbreak to happiness, subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories about second chances, unexpected love, and the power of believing in what matters most. We share new romantic stories every week that will touch your heart and remind you that it's never too late to fight for love. Hit that subscribe button and join our community. Your next favorite love story is just one click away.